So you got a smartphone, or you have a tablet with a lot of fingerprints on it, and you like to game on either of those devices, but you hate touch controls and gyro controls. I feel you, I'm in the same boat. Well, there is a solution, well they hope it's a solution, and that is the Moga Pro. Now Moga also had another controller which is called the Moga controller, and it got mixed reviews. It was small, some people said it was awkward, some people loved it, some people hated it, but this is their revision. This is the Moga controller, and let's take a look at it. You could use this with your smartphone, your tablet, and there's a piece of software you download from Google Play that allows you to, basically they have a list of games there, and you could use games that are designed to work with the Moga, or it has an HID mode, which, so if you're using like an emulator or a game that doesn't support the controller, you could still set it up to work with the controls, kind of like how you would with like a Logitech controller on a computer. But let's take a look at the controller first. It's really, changed the color scheme, and it's pretty much an Xbox 360 controller, but we'll still look at it. But there's obviously a couple differences because it's meant for mobile gaming. You have your two clickable thumbsticks. Feel very similar to a 360 controller. This is your pairing button right here. You have select and start, X, A, B, Y. All the buttons actually have the analog sticks have an incredible feel on them. They feel just as good, if not slightly better, than the 360 analog sticks. Maybe the 360 ones may have a little bit of an edge because they're grippier, but these feels very well made. The directional pad definitely blows away the 360 one. This one's easy to play. I played Sonic the Hedgehog with this, and it's a breeze to play with it. It feels like almost as good as the Super Nintendo D-pad. It loses a couple points because it has a slippery surface. It's not that kind of grippy surface that the SNES controller had, but it's hell of a lot better than what the 360's offer. And I hate to keep bashing it, but that's probably the worst D-pad ever. I think a lot of you agree with me too. Love the 360 controller. It's one of the most comfortable controllers of all time, but D-pad on that thing is god-awful. Even Microsoft has kind of accepted that fact. We'll look over here. Now, if you have a smartphone, this is very interesting, and I thought this was going to be a crappy gimmick, but I'll show it to you. So you want to take this, you're going on a business trip, you're going away with family or whatever, you just want to take it with you on a train, commute to work. This is how you would game with this. Check that out. You put your phone in there. Now, I saw other people reviewing this, and I'm like, wah, wah, really? Like, that's going to work out well? And it does. Look. I'm not being light and gentle with that. Go the other way, too. You really would need to really knock this thing, like someone have to knock it out of your hand for this to fall out, like hit you hard. Like there's two, so if you want a game on your phone, it almost becomes like a Vita or a PlayStation Portable, and all you gotta do, pull it out, and if you look over here, these really kind of super rubbery grips that hold it in. I thought that was gonna suck. It really doesn't. My only concern is what they're doing is they have like a really tense spring here that clamps this together, and how long will that hold up? I'm not going to wait a year to review this thing. I got it about a week and a half ago. I'm not going to wait a year to review this thing to see how it holds up. That would be my only concern with that. But as of now, out of the box, it holds my fairly heavy HTC Evo V pretty well. So, and the top of it's very adjustable too. So if you have a Samsung Galaxy Note 2, it should work. If anyone has a Moga Pro and a Note 2, let me know in the comments section below if it works or not. But around the back, you have analog triggers. Nintendo, you should take notes. Look, an Android smartphone and tablet controller has analog triggers and bumper buttons. One thing I like about these bumper buttons as much as I do about the 360 ones is my hand has to kind of flex to be comfortable on them. Maybe because I have funky gorilla hands, but it's just a little minor gripe. It's pretty comfortable still, though. And again, analog triggers. The good thing about it is when you play games like Modern Combat 4, it feels like you're playing, obviously the graphics aren't on the same level, but it feels like you're playing Call of Duty. And with this controller, they did a really damn good job designing it. I really can't complain about the ergonomics and feel and the build quality of the controller. Also, too, what's cool, has built-in battery, has a lithium-ion battery. And with this, you have a micro USB to charge it. So all you gotta do is once you're done playing, and the batteries, I think I've charged this once in the past week I've used it. So I can't give you an hour amount because I've used it a decent amount, but you won't have to charge it that long. You won't have to charge it that many times. It's gonna last you a while. My only beef with anything with built-in batteries is that once the battery goes, this becomes a piece of plastic. You know, people knock Microsoft for still using AA's with the Xbox One, but guess what? When the batteries go bad, you can just buy new ones. When the batteries go bad in this, you have a paperweight. Just got to tell you how it is, man. That's why I don't like built-in batteries. But anyway, overall feel of the controller, very impressed. It's a complete 180. What I've been told, I should say, because I haven't used the original, but it's a complete 180 from the original Moga controller, and it's comfortable. I've gamed with it for hours, and very happy with the feel of it. It feels like a controller that would come with one of the big 3 consoles. They did a very good job. All right, so let's take a look at the software now, and let's take a look at some games. Now, it's going to be captured off my screen. My Hauppauge HD PVR2 is still out of commission, and I can't capture tablet or smartphone gameplay with my Live Gamer portable. So it's going to be a little rough around the edges, the gameplay footage, but you'll get the gist of it. I also forgot to mention before, there's another cool accessory and one that you need that the Moga Pro comes with. Comes with the micro HDMI cord to charge it from your computer, the controller, and it also comes with a tablet stand. All you have to do is plop your tablet on, which I did backwards, but you'll get the point, and it rests right on the stand, so you can play games on the stand. I even use this just to charge my tablet. It's that sturdy. That was a smart move for them to include that. So it kind of turns your tablet, your 7 or 10 inch tablet, into like a mini game console wherever you go. All right, let's show the Moga controller being used with some games and see how it actually handles when you use it with your tablet. Okay, so I have my lights off to make the mood more romantic. Now, what you have to do, the nice thing, usually, you can see my bearded face right there. The nice thing usually is that once you initially set up your Moga, it automatically connects via Bluetooth. The downside is, and one thing I have to complain about, is it takes forever, man. But anyway, we'll go to the Moga Pivot app so you can look at it. Come on, Betsy. All right, there we go. So let's see, maybe I need to set it up quicker here. All right, Moga's blinking, it's ready, the green light's on. And I'm actually going to keep this in the review so you see how long it is to get it going. This is probably my only major beef. I have like 1 or 2 other ones with the Moga, is that it takes very long to sync up with whatever mobile device you're using. There we go. Okay. So that took about, let's say, 25 seconds. Still, you know, I mean, I have a Bluetooth keyboard I hook up to my tablet, and it takes no time at all. So anyway, this is the Moga Pivot app, which you could download right off of Google Play. I keep on just wanting to say iTunes, and this actually isn't compatible with Apple products as of yet. I don't know, maybe that might change, but it shows you all the games that you can get. There's actually a decent amount of games that work right out of the box with the Moga Pro controller, so they're set up to work right with it. Dead Trigger works great, Conduit HD does. Modern Combat 4, we'll talk about that in a second. Sonic 1 works fantastic. Well, a lot of these games work very well. And they have a whole, they have A to Z. You could look around the list, you could see other games. They show you the new ones, the featured ones. Crazy Taxi works with it. And they have games in alphabetical order here. So if you want to see, maybe there's a game you just remember, don't remember the name exactly, you just want to find it. There you go, there's all the games. Let's load them off the internet as I'm doing this. That's why it's taking a while. Virtua Tennis, Wild Blood, tons of different games. Shadowgun, the Shadowgun Online works with it. Real Boxing, which I have. So there you go. It's actually a decent list of games. There's a lot that don't work with it though, also too. But the nice thing, like I said, is they have an HID mode, so games that aren't compatible out of the box with the Moga Pro, you can just, you know, set up the controls to work with it. So like I said, if you want to download a emulator, you could set it up to work with the Moga Pro. So anyway, let's take a look at some games now. Let's start off with Doom, because Doom works amazing with this. And there you go, the controls are flawless. And I like this Doom GLS engine too. It kind of adds, it's not as cool as Brutal Doom. I don't think any first-person shooter in the world is as cool as Brutal Doom, but they added some dynamic lighting effects, you know, more blood, things like that. So if you're a Doom head, which I am, and you want to play it on your tablet, especially now with the Moga Pro, this game works flawlessly with it. The only thing I could say about the Doom GLS engine is that it locks up once in a while. It has obviously nothing to do with the controller, but the nice thing about it is that, like, you literally pick up on the frame you left off at, so even if the game does lock up on you, no big deal. Like I said, look at the water effects. You see the reflection and everything? It's pretty badass what they did with this. But anyway, this game works perfect. Let's go on to the next one. And I'm playing Sonic the Hedgehog with the Moga Pro. This actually runs really good. One thing I could say about this game is that it seems when you get farther away, I'm not too far away from the tablet now, or maybe it was because I was going through HDMI. Now I'm not noticing it, but there was a little bit of lag, like say I hooked up my tablet via HDMI to my flat screen. I noticed some lag, but here I'm not noticing it at all, so I have a feeling it had to do with me using HDMI. But yeah, this runs great. There's no lag right now. I feel like and like I said, the D-pad on the Moga Pro is really damn good. So yeah, I have no complaints about this. So if you want to play Sonic on the go with a Moga Pro, you can't get any better than this, unless you had a Sega Genesis in front of you. All right, so this is Modern Combat 4, and this game is a mixed bag with the Moga Pro. And I'm going to try to explain it as I'm playing and probably going to get my ass kicked. Now, it's going to sound like I'm going to say something that's very duh, but you would have to play it to understand what I'm saying. This game is terribly optimized for Tegra 3. As a matter of fact, until like a month ago, I couldn't even get this game. And I can only play it on my smartphone, the HTC Evo. I couldn't even play it. I forgot what you have to do here to get up. Oh, you gotta click the left. Now, when the frame rate drops, the controller becomes less responsive. Now that sounds like something obvious, but no. Like when you play a game on the PC and the frame rate drops, you're still moving just as fast, the controls are just as fast, you're just not seeing, it's not as smooth. This, like, your turn, the time you take for you to turn is a lot. When the frame rate drops, it's like the controller kind of crawls like this. So you can't rely on the Moga Pro with Modern Combat 4. And this game is borderline unplayable without an actual controller. How people, maybe on a large screen like this, I actually have only played this with the Moga Pro on my tablet, but so maybe using the touch controls on a larger screen, because I tried it on my small phone, forget about it. But yeah, I don't know. I can't recommend, like, so say you wanted to only buy this for playing Modern Combat 4. Got some bad news for you. And where the hell is everybody? I don't really care because it's not the point. But anyway, I can't give it a seal of approval with Modern Combat 4. Oh, cool! I got a kill because it's just not stable enough. So let's move on to one more game, and I'll give you guys my final verdict on the Moga Pro. All right, so now we're playing some Dead Trigger. And this game runs fantastic with it, but what pisses me off is you still have to use the touchscreen for a certain, like, to navigate menus. And to me, it's just like, are you kidding? Because say you wanted to do like what I was doing on my flat screen, and you wanted to use your tablet as a game console with Dead Trigger, you can't, because you'll constantly have to get up to do certain maneuvers. And that's another thing with Modern Combat 4 as well, is there's like quick time events that you have to use the touchscreen. So it kind of defeats the purpose of having the controller. You know, okay, yeah, all right, you know, like they're going for that PS Vita mode where, you know, there's a touchscreen where you have to do certain things in games, but sometimes you just want to sit back, lounge, and play the game, which most games let you do. I kind of want to say to the two developers, like, what were you thinking? Ooh, I'm getting my butt kicked right now. And I got bit. See, that's what I'm saying. I had to use a touchscreen again. See that? Like, I don't know what the developers of Dead Trigger were thinking. But besides that, the game controls flawlessly with the Moga Pro. I mean, this is... I can never picture going back and playing this game with touch controls again. I did not like... I mean, I enjoyed the game, but it was very frustrating with touch controls. And now it's like night and day. This game is way more enjoyable with the Moga Pro. So, I can't... For this one... minus those couple things I just mentioned, it works beautifully. I just wish they would make an update where all the QuickTime events and the menu screen worked with the Moga Pro, because that just, to me, is ridiculous. So anyway, guys, time to give you my final verdict, and let's see what I think of the Moga Pro as a whole. So the Moga Pro, it's comfortable. When it works right with games, which most it does, I have to say, it's phenomenal. I feel like I'm using an Xbox 360 controller. And to developers that actually implemented this right, there's my golf clap for you. I applaud you, because it makes the gameplay experience 10 times better to use with an actual controller. But here's where I kind of have to call out Google for a second. I wish that Google would kind of, because hands down, from what I've been hearing and from my personal experience, this is a phenomenal controller, and Moga Pro, or Moga in general, seems to be the most popular company. I wish Google would go to Moga and say, hey, we're going to make your controller the standard. And then Google go to developers and say, hey, the games that you make have to be compatible with this controller. And it would make the game market blow up. Because then you see lazy ports, like I have to say Modern Combat 4, it's just not a smooth experience with it. And I'm going to have to call them out and say it's lazy because they didn't fully implement it. They still touchscreen, QuickTime events, and same with Dead Trigger. You can't. It doesn't make it a full console experience, and doesn't make it a comfortable experience, because like I said, you want to take your tablet and hook it up via HDMI, which you can do with this Asus tablet. Guess what? You still got to go and walk up to the screen. And if there's a QuickTime event, like in Modern Combat 4, which is time sensitive, you can't sit down on your couch because you're going to have to be ready right away, or else you're going to die. So I wish that Google would take the Moga Pro, or whatever company they're choosing, and say, hey, you're the standard. We're going to go to game developers and say you have to make it compatible with this controller, and boom, the problem would be solved. And I guarantee you the Google Play Store game market would explode 10 times bigger than it already is. But do I recommend this? I'm going to say yes, because I'm really blown away by it, and the games that it worked well with were flawless. And especially if you're going to get into using emulators and things like that, yeah, but the problem is that this needs to be a little bit cheaper. It's $50 for that thing, and I have Amazon Prime. I've seen some places even sell it for $60. It's a controller, okay? And people are going to go and say, well, hey, you know, Microsoft and Sony sell their controllers for $60. I don't agree with that either. I don't agree with that at all. They shouldn't be selling them for that high a price. It should be much cheaper. You know, this is an accessory, and on top of it too, if they made it cheaper, it would penetrate the market more, and then developers would be more enticed to make their games work with the controller, and it would definitely become a standard. So, yes, I do recommend it, but I also recommend to Moga to drop down the price $10, because that is a little high for a gaming controller for a smartphone or tablet. But I like it. It's comfortable. I'm very impressed, and the games that I played with it, most of them work perfectly. So, thumbs up to you, Moga. It's a good product. Anyway, folks, this is Rich of Review Tech USA. Make sure to rate, comment, favorite, and subscribe. And as always, thank you for supporting my channel. Have a good one.